Ah, the infinite question of air travel with children and the seat size. Well, the seat size could be a bit bigger, but of course, if we do that, or if the airlines, God forbid, that they do that to render their clients more comfortable, less cranky, less demanding, um, they lose money. Oops, the bad word. Well, unfortunately, that's why they're making this. They're making money. It's not for social venture, unfortunately. Eventually, that may be something in the future, but if we're lucky enough and we survive to that period, so be it. If not, well, at least we voiced opinions and we're now stuck in the annals of time in regards to the books, the YouTube archives, and everything else that exists on this great wide world. As for toddlers, where do I begin? I have a low tolerance for toddlers when they're crying. I have to admit, I'm unfortunately one of those people that does not enjoy a baby crying. Um, I enjoy a child when they're sleeping. I've babysat kids aged 4, 5, and up. Um, I've had my share of actually experiencing some of the treasured desires or treasured moments of what it may mean to have a child by discussing it with my ex-wife and everything else. But when it comes to international travel, there's a lot to be said about tolerancy. Tolerancy goes as far as you can throw a stick or a rock on a plane, which isn't far. People, on the most part, will be well rested, prepared for the long travel ahead of them, especially for international flights. In some cases, though, after 5 hours of traveling on the plane, even after 3 hours, you can start feeling cranky. You can feel the tension in the air. You could cut it with a butter knife. And if there's a crying toddler, if there's a toddler that needs to be changed that causes inconveniences to the people around them, if a toddler needs to be fed and they're causing inconveniences to the people around them, it is going to cause friction. There is no way to make it tolerable. That you want to or not, we also have to accept that, okay, I was a child, I grew up, and here I am now. My parents never traveled with me, at least not in the sense of taking a plane. If they did travel, they did it by Winnebago. But because your family is overseas and other peoples across this great wide world are also in the same boat, it's a double-edged sword. You have to take it as you go, and that's it. Um, if your child is one of the rare ones that doesn't have issues with air pressurization, bingo, you've got yourself a winner. You have no issues. The only thing you have to worry about is if the child doesn't want to feed, doesn't want to be rested, doesn't want to behave, I guess. Um, the it's funny when you mention that people's faces they give you that expression, but it's usually in those that don't give you an expression that it's worse, because if you could read their minds, you would find out the penultimate layers of what it means to be a human being. In our heads, we always keep everything, and if our faces could be masks to hide what we really have inside, some of the stuff could be to the effect of you just see the face and you're, oh Jesus Christ, shut up! Oh, how nice. And it's in that similar perspective. Unfortunately, well, your children are growing up, and they're growing up fast, scratching cat. So you've gone through the trials and tribulations of what it meant traveling with them when they were babies, so that your parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, sisters, brothers, etc., over in your country, your native country, can get to see your children. It's very difficult, and I commend you for actually surviving that. And I know I wasn't one of those people that actually offended you in any way, shape, or form, because I wouldn't have traveled towards Europe. I haven't yet. May very well sometime in the near future, but for the moment, it's pretty much North America. And that's it. I mean, I could say a lot more in regards to it, but tolerance is up in the air. Well, tolerance is a smog of human abasement when it comes to it, because it's up to a person to determine how they want to act. But it makes things very difficult to act in a reasonable fashion when you're already overstressed with other passengers that are actually on the plane, traveling towards the same goal, getting to the other end of this flight safe and sound, in one piece, with hopes of not having any nerves frayed. But it is to be said that to be a parent is also to be not an outcast in society nowadays, but you are viewed differently when you have children. And trust me, with children in tow, you are looked at differently. I mean, they've quickly, I'll just put this in because it's something that ties into having children. If you actually do the noise pollution experiment that I did in class, where you put 20 different sounds and include very nice to very nasty sounds, and in there you throw in a baby's cry, about 50% of the class, both male and female, are split on a baby's cry, or on children fighting, on people yelling, and so on and so forth. Sounds are part of life, and unfortunately pollution is also a very big part of life, even if we don't think we're polluting. But noise that doesn't stop is a pollution. It's a form of energy that never stops, and it is termed noise pollution. There is always some background noise, always. In regards to travel, the only thing that I know that might appease things is when we finally get transportation technology down to teleporters, as in Star Trek and all the other nifty sci-fi worlds that by now we should actually have. But matter transportation in that fashion hasn't been, unfortunately, designed yet. They're still in hypothetical and theoretical stages, if they exist. So, with that said, with a very big hello, thank you for being such a wonderful mom, and for surviving this world's trials and tribulations. I think we should all thank you very much for being such a patient woman. And have a nice one.